Okay, now it's time for our weekly dog training segment. Cue the Bark in the Park intro. Our guest, Sandy Sandberg, is a dog mom herself. She's an animal behaviorist, and she's the owner of Doggy Do Good in Arroyo Grande, California. Now, Sandy has quite the resume. She's worked for SeaWorld. She's worked at the San Diego Zoo. She's even worked at the Michael Jackson Neverland Valley Ranch. And she joins us live from California. As we said, Sandy, look at you cuddled into your pup. You are amazing. Thank you so much for making the time for us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This is my little buddy, my bestie. This is Chopper.
Oh,
and she's
Chopper.
a diabetic-alert dog. And
Wow.
She's just a baby. I love her so much.
Oh, I can tell. You just see it, Sandy. Now, we love to hear everyone's story and kind of the story behind the story on Dog Mom News Live. So tell us, when did you first get interested in working with dogs, and what started your rather beautiful career? You have quite the resume.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, it just started when I was as little as I can remember, just training my own dogs. I always have loved animals. I've always had a passion for animals. So as little as I can remember, I just started training my own dogs. And then what happened when I was 9 years old, my parents actually sent the chow. They had this chow and they sent it away to be trained. And when it came back, I asked them if I could have a job. And they said, come back.
Wow.
So that's when it first started. But then as I grew up, I started working at different animal hospitals and started assisting the veterinarians and became a vet tech. And then from there, I just volunteered all over the place. But also from there, I ended up working at SeaWorld. They had tryouts. You had to do a swim test. And so they would see how long you could hold your breath. And then they would test you on how deep you could dive, how you responded in the water. The day that I tried out, there were 168 people just that day.
Wow.
And we got in the water and they wanted to see if you could handle the cold water. And one of the people that were trying out actually had to be rescued. He had hypothermia. And
Whoa, you're going, what am I doing? Is it really worth it? Oh,
it was worth it.
yes, of course, as you're one of the 168 that gets the job. Now, obviously, it has to be more than your work ethic. I mean, some of this is being in the right place at the right time, but they saw something special in you.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, but it certainly was an honor to work there. And then after that, I went to the Santa Barbara Zoo and worked with over 200 species of animals there, including the cats, which are the lions and the cougars, but also had the opportunity to work with the red pandas, which are on the species survival plan list, and got them to breed, which was super exciting. Worked with gibbons, anteaters, lemurs, all sorts of animals there. And then from there, I got a job at Michael Jackson's and started working with his elephants and became the elephant supervisor, which I loved working there. But my whole life, I've trained dogs, my whole life. And
that is awesome. Now, dogs, elephants, so much goes into the training of them. Now, I know, though, that there is an interesting story when it comes to this elephant, maybe Gypsy, from a gift from a pretty famous actress, I think, right?
Yes. Elizabeth Taylor actually bought Michael Jackson's Gypsy. She was an Asian elephant, and she came to live at Neverland. And there's so much I could talk about just with the elephant. But
now, why did Elizabeth Taylor want to get Michael Jackson an elephant of all animals? Do you know?
I don't know why. I know that Michael loved elephants, and so I think that's why. She knew that he loved animals and loved the elephant, so she got him Gypsy as a gift.
Wow. So what do you think was the takeaway from that job, working at the Neverland Valley Ranch? What was the main takeaway, or what was different and unique about that experience, other than the fact that Michael Jackson's name is associated with it?
Well, she was such a kind-hearted person, so sweet and gentle. And the thing that was so awesome is that she really let me do what I needed to do for the elephant. I was very big on behavioral enrichment. So every day I would take the elephant, he had 4 square miles. So every day I would take them on walks and just let them be elephants and tear down the trees, which the gardeners weren't really big fans of me for letting them do that. But I would take him at the back. So it wasn't like right by his house. although
Right.
we did go to his house. Um, Anyways, it was just a great job. And one of the things that I really learned from working there is how to troubleshoot. Two of the
Sure.
elephants that he had came from a culling. Not sure if you know what that is, but a culling is where they're basically rescued due to encroachment on their habitat. There's not enough room for people and the elephants. So unfortunately, they have to cull several of them to make sure the survival for future elephants. So Michael actually rescued two babies after
That's so
from a
sweet.
female. And had he not, they wouldn't be here today. So very,
And
very,
what a great opportunity for you to give them a better chance at life, right? And to explore a different part of training as well.
yeah.
So this seems like a dream job working at the Neverland Valley Ranch. So what made you decide to step away and go in a different direction?
Well, it was. I loved working there. It was a fabulous job, and I loved everyone there, and Michael was amazing. But why I quit was because I decided to have my children. I decided to get pregnant, and I really thought I was going to go back. So much so that I was interviewing nannies. I thought for sure that I was going to be going back to Michael's and continue being the elephant mom. But once I had my son, I was like, oh no, I can't let anyone take care of him but me.
No, there's
So,
nothing like that bond. And I can totally relate. Actually, that's why I left my full-time news career. One
oh,
look in my child's eyes, my son Will's eyes, I said, I don't want anyone else raising you. And suddenly 60 to 70 hours a week, as much as you love that job, you can't help but love your child more, right? So kudos to
right.
you, Sandy, for making that change and making a way to be more available to people you love. That's awesome. And then out of that time, right, came this new idea, and you decided to go in a new direction.
Right. So because of that, I was like, what can I do? So I started Doggy Do Good. And Doggy Do Good, well, it's been in business since 1998. And we've grown. We have almost 50 employees, and we do everything. We do basic obedience. So for the general public, if they want their dog to learn come, sit, down, stay, heel, plus manners, barking, jumping, chewing, nipping, aggression suppression, we do that. But we also do service dog training, which is my love. It's my passion. It's my heart. And the service dog training is helping people with different disabilities, whatever the disability may be. It could be stability, things like Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy, or even a car accident. Or it could be hearing impaired. It could be psych dogs, which would be helping people that have things like post-traumatic stress disorder or autism or even Alzheimer's. We also do diabetic-alert dogs and seizure-alert dogs. We do all sorts of things. Whatever the need is, we are there to help assist the person with whatever their need is.
Right. And how important is it that your training is specific to the breed and the dog and also specific to the individual? I imagine it goes both ways.
Absolutely. You know, we find that the labs make the best service dogs, but we do temperament testing to find the right dog for the right person, for the right owner. And like I said, little Chopper's a diabetic alert dog, and she's
Oh.
just perfect.
And look at her. I mean, she just fills your heart with so much joy, right? She's making this interview a lot easier for you, Sandy, because I ask the really tough questions.
Definitely have lots of oxytocin being released right now.
There you go. That is so great. So, training stability dogs, it can take a couple years to do this, right? Walk us through what that process is like.
So we will basically we have different breeders, and we do temperament testing. And we temperament test starting at 7 weeks old. And we determine if the dog seems like it's got the right temperament. Then what we'll do is we will go ahead and have the puppy enter our puppy program. And our puppy program, we have puppy raisers, basically volunteers that will volunteer to take the puppies. We also have a prison program where we will have the puppies go to the prison and be trained by the prisoners there. And they're learning all the basics. They're learning socialization. They're becoming desensitized to different noises. So just getting out and about, making sure that they're exposed to lots of different distractions. That's actually such an important role for a service dog, to just be calm and just act like that's just their everyday life. They're just not startled by anything. This is just part of their life, getting used to things like people walking by and wheelchairs and blowers and lawnmowers and cars, just all those different distractions, loud noises. The dogs have to become sensitized to that. So our puppy raisers really help a lot with the sensitizing and then teaching them the basics and some manners, teaching them potty training and teaching them not to bark at everything and just having some manners like stay and come, things of that nature. And then we get them back and we teach them even more.
There you go. It's so incredible, though. You stepped away from your full-time job and that's a big risk. And then you look at now how you've worked into this new position, but just all of the different areas that you're able to make an impact. So it's just so incredible. You talked about the service animals, also touch on emotional support animals like Chopper right now. What is your take on training emotional support animals as well?
Okay, well, emotional support animals are definitely different than service dogs. So she's a service dog because she's a diabetic alert dog. If the blood sugar goes low, she actually will grab the wrist and just start licking and licking and licking. That's how she alerts that, hey, you need to check your blood sugar. It seems like it's low. So she's a service dog, and a service dog can go all over the place. They basically become an extension of you. You can think of them as an extension of your pancreas if it's a diabetic alert dog, right? Whereas an emotional support dog, they are basically like a comfort dog. So you do not get to go into public locations like stores and restaurants and hospitals. Those are things service dogs would do. They're like I said, an extension of you. So if you're dealing with an emotional support dog, they can go into public places, but it would just be places that are more outside. So like at parks or to the beach or of course, family and friends, things of that nature. So there's really a big difference because they don't have the public access that a service dog would have.
I see. That makes a lot of sense. Now, I know that as far as your training goes, it focuses on learning in the home environment. How does that differ from, say, a kennel environment? Walk us through that.
Well, our basic obedience dogs, the dogs that are here, they're not service dogs. They're just here to learn the basics and manners. Like I said, even aggression, trying to teach them not to be aggressive. They're in a home environment because we want this to be their home away from home. So we want what's realistic, which is them to be in a home where there are distractions, like people coming in and out of the home, where there are noises that you would have in a home, like a vacuum, like washing dishes, things of that nature. So, and we want them to have fun. That's the big part of training, is just making sure the dogs are going to have a lot of fun. So we want to make sure that they're having fun and that they're learning. That's our big goal.
Do you have any tips, because you touched on the fun, for our dog moms watching, on how to enrich the bond between that they share with their dog? How to really strengthen that trust and strengthen that relationship?
Absolutely. Just finding out what your dog likes. So I also have a Malinois, and I take her hiking literally every day. And so find out, she loves that. Find out what your dog likes. And when you're doing that, incorporate training into it. So for instance, I'll be out hiking with my dogs. I actually take 7 dogs. I'll take 6 service dogs, and then I take my dog. And what I'll do is when we're hiking, I'll tell them to come to me. I'll ask them to come. So it reinforces come while they're having fun. So figure out what it is that your dog likes. So for instance, if your dog likes playing with a ball, throw the ball and then sometimes call him back for come. And if you're not used to that, if you're like, oh, I don't want to do that, put a long line on the dog so you can just reel him in and make it fun as you're telling them to come to you. So to make sure that training's fun while they're learning.
Yes, and because not every dog is reward treat driven. So I think that's really key what you said. If they like to play with them. There you go. Sometimes we can complicate things, right? And make it really hard. But I do think that consistency, like you were talking about, is key. From your standpoint, though, any other tips that you want to explore for the dog moms watching? Anything that you think is commonly overlooked or that's immensely helpful?
One of the things I find with training is figure out what your dog likes to do and put it on command. I learned this when I was training the exotics, the elephants, for instance. So one of the things that we would do with the elephants is we would put like a little handkerchief on top of the head, and then the elephant would shake its head like this, and then we'd start saying, shake it up, shake it up. And then the elephant would start to associate the word shake it up with moving his head like this, and we'd give him a little treat and love on him. And you can do that with your dog. If your dog's offering a behavior, maybe it rolls on its belly and you love when it rolls on its on its back and exposes its belly, because you love to give those belly rolls or belly love.
Yes.
Well, when it does it, put it on command, and then the dog will start to associate, I get this love, but you can also make it like I like to use the word happy. Like, show us your happy place, and then the dog will roll it on its little back and expose its belly, and you can rub on them and love on them, and it's just a fun little command.
Oh, that's so sweet. What is Chopper's currency? What does Chopper love?
Chopper loves just being loved, like this, hanging out with me and going with me everywhere. She just likes to hang out. That's her big thing. But she does love the belly rub. That's for sure.
Oh, that is so sweet, Sandy. Now, if dog moms watching want to keep tabs on what's going on with Doggy Do Good, how can they do so?
Well, we do have a website, so doggiedogood.com. We also have doggiedoesgood.org. And both of those websites will direct you to our service dogs if you are interested in that, and we'll let you know about our programs. We also have our Instagram and our Facebook. And we also have Puppy Prep if you're interested in seeing how our service dogs are trained and the daily life of the service dogs at Doggy Do Good. You can go to Puppy Prep, and that's through BuzzFeed, or you can go to YouTube and check out Puppy Prep. And you'll get a chance to see a series that they did on our service dog program.
That is so great. I love the incredibly practical, helpful tips. And you're just a ray of sunshine, Sandy. So it's been such a delight to spend time with you today. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And it's been a delight hanging out with you as well. You have a great day.
You too, Sandy. Sandy Sandberg, owner of Doggy Do Good. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for watching this Dog Mom News clip. Do us a favor, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more informative and awesome Dog Mom News content. And be sure to click that notification bell too to stay up to date with all our new content in real time. You'll also want to be sure to join us for our live stream each Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you soon.